Good morning. Current time is 6:04. Okay, so right now heading to the gym. I realized that every time as I get more and more locked in, right, my bedtime starts to get earlier and earlier. And I truly enjoy working out first thing in the morning fasted, right? So today I would like to talk about actually how to build a morning routine for success. Okay, not just in fitness, but in anything in life, right? Because based on what I reflect in the past, right, the number one thing that helps me build discipline, right, I think it's the easiest, but it's also the most difficult thing you can do, is to improve your sleep schedule, right? So be it in my career or in fitness, right, usually, let's say I feel that it's very difficult for me to stay disciplined. Okay, the number one thing that I'll do is start to improve my body clock, right? So I used to be a night owl, right? Have days and periods where I go to bed at 10 a.m. in the morning. Then I will wake up at like 6 p.m. Okay, those were the days where I when I play poker for a living or I gamble a lot, right? Those days I was very bad in terms of like my body clock and stuff, right? And of course, usually fitness and even work takes a toll, right? So every time I want to log back in, I just by changing your sleep pattern, right? All these distractions will automatically be eliminated. So although it's not completely necessary to have a morning routine or like to wake up at 6 a.m. to work out, right? But if you realize that you are not being able to stay consistent, right, then that might be something that you need. Okay, because like I said, fixing your sleep is a very easy thing to do, right? But it's also very difficult because it requires more discipline than anything. At least for me, right? I think once I can solve my sleep problem, a lot of the things that requires discipline, like going to the gym or staying on track with my diet, right, it becomes easier. Okay, so one tip is, at the start it will definitely be difficult, right? Especially if you are someone like me who has used to have very bad sleeping habits, right? Is you have to just I think don't try to start by. So I used to have quite bad insomnia, right? Because I think mostly it's also it's caused by the anxiety to want to fall asleep whenever, like whatever time I can. So in order to really fix your sleep pattern, right, what I recommend and what worked for me in the past is really don't stress yourself over what time to go to bed, but instead, you force yourself to wake up at this certain time every day. Okay, so this will force your body to adjust the body clock. So for example, okay, let's say if I was sleeping at 10 a.m., right, this is super bad in terms of like the body clock, right? But what I will do is, I will set myself to wake up at a time. Okay, ideally for 6 a.m. you want to work your way to 6 a.m. Let's say if you want to wake up at 6 a.m., right? But we can set it as 10 a.m. first. So what I did in the past is I will not sleep for one night. Okay, so think about it. So ultimately you don't want to control what time you go to bed, right? Because at the start it will be very difficult. But what you can do is you control what time you wake up. So let's say if I was going to bed at 10 a.m., okay, I could set my body clock to wake up at like maybe 11 or 12 p.m. first, right? Then, so what this means is potentially I only will be able to get like 1-2 hours of sleep. Okay, last time I would just set 10 a.m., no sleep at all, right? But what you want to do is you slowly adjust backwards. Okay, and then over time you will see that your body will get more and more tired. So what will happen is that your 10 a.m. bedtime will become like 8 a.m., 6 a.m. Okay, you don't even have to force yourself, but naturally you will just be tired. Okay, after first day of not sleeping much, right, the second day will be much easier. Then, based on like my past experiences, when you do during this adjustment period, it will definitely not be easy, because there will be times that maybe let's say you are able to go to bed at a good timing, which is 10 p.m, right? Because after first day of not sleeping much, your body is very tired. But what happens is you wake up in the middle of the night, 2-3 p.m, that kind of thing. Then you cannot fall back asleep, you know? And those are the days where that happens. I will get very frustrated. But being someone that has experienced it before, right, I just want to let you guys know, you know, that's just part of the process. So what I will do is, you know, don't stress over getting back into sleep. If you want, okay, you see. Okay, so ultimately, right, you just have to fix a set of rules and stick to it. That means, let's say your new bedtime that you want, your new time that you want to wake up at is 10 a.m, right? Regardless what happens between this period, let's say if you wake up at 2-3 p.m, you can either go all the way, okay, and then all the way until your whole day until the next day. So that way your body will slowly adjust, or you can go back to sleep. But no matter what, you have to wake back. You have to wake up at 10 a.m. Okay. And another tip I have for you guys is also try to resist not taking any naps in the day lah. Okay. Definitely you will be very tired. Okay, but ultimately, after 1 to 2 weeks of adjustment, right, you will have your sleeping pattern where you want it, which is honestly very productive when it comes to waking up early in the morning. Because when you are awake, right, can you see, no distractions at all. So let's say if you wake up at a crazy timing like 2-3 p.m, okay, if you 2-3 a.m, if you can have access to like a 24 hours gym, you know, go to the gym. Okay, so slowly, you know, that is how you will build a consistency. But same thing lah, when it comes to fixing this kind of thing, because of years of like bad habits, right, it's impossible to do it immediately, right? We all like quick solution, but in reality, this is not the case. So what you want to do is really just work your way slowly, okay, and then yeah, really sleep hygiene, okay, is really important for anything in life. Okay, so I'm here at the gym. See you guys inside. So another reason why I love to train in the morning is because right now there's like less than 5 people in the gym. Okay, which, you know, absolutely love it. So right now, starting things off with a mat grip pull down. Okay, this really feels good on the upper back. So today, that's what we'll be starting off with. Oh. Okay, gonna warm up a few sets. See you guys in the first working set. Okay, so I think this might be the first set. Okay, so gonna go high reps, trying to get a sick pump. Okay. Beautiful. Okay, so pyramid sets. So, you know, since we are talking about sleep, right? So, you know, reflecting throughout my life, okay, every time when I want to lock in for something, right, the first thing I will usually fix is my sleep, right? But then, let's say, back when I was in real estate, right, that's something that I did, right? And then it really allowed me to, you know, accomplish the goals that I set out in terms of career, monetary. So, you know, what happens is usually when you build such a good structure, right, it's really important to not let any distraction, you know, affect it. So one thing that always happened to me is whenever I accomplish something that I set out to do, right, then after that I will, be more relaxed on it, right? Okay, then that's where I will always fall back into a spiral of like, the sleep will naturally be affected. So if possible, once you fix your sleep pattern, right, okay, it should be like a non-negotiable for you, right? So whatever it is, whatever distraction, okay, try to stick by that sleep timing, because I can tell you it really, how productive you are really, it boils down your sleep. Okay, not just from a productivity standpoint, but in terms of like your health, your recovery, everything. I think also mental health, having a good sleep, it's just too many benefits. Okay, sleep is really underrated. Okay, next set. Okay, so this will be the last and final set. Okay, quite heavy. Okay, so the plan is, let's see if I can get 6 reps. If cannot, then it will be a drop set. Okay. Whew. Okay. Yep. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so next exercise, single arm pull down, right? So this right here is by far one of the best exercise, okay, at least in my opinion, when it comes to building your lats, right? So, okay, I also have many clients, okay, that really can't feel the mind-muscle connection on the lats, right? Doing this, instantly, they always feel it. So, let's go. Whew. Okay. 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 Oh. Wow. Oh yes, this is really crazy. Okay. So increase the weight. Okay, also using straps because I don't want, my grip to fail. Okay. Okay. The good thing about filming is sometimes, you forget how many reps you do this side. So can always check back and then make sure, you know, not being unbalanced. Okay, so yeah. Okay. So for this, make sure to really think about driving your elbows, you know, to your hips. And then I also like to lean a bit, right? And then make sure to get the full stretch. That's all you need to know. Okay, perfect. I think one more. I mean, would you look at this? Absolutely beauty. Okay, so last and final set. Also increase the weight, so not sure if it's too heavy. Okay. So I think that's 7 reps and 3 partials. Okay, let's hope I'm not wrong. Okay. Okay. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so today, I'm doing like an alternate between like upper back and then lats, right? So started off with the Mac grip pull down. Those is more for upper back focus. After that, single pull down, lat focus, right? So now also alternate between like rows and pull downs, right? So 2 pull downs, time to do 2 rows. Okay, so first row will be the chest supported dumbbell row. Okay, that flank elbows more. Okay, that will target more of the upper back. Okay, so one warm up set first. Okay, just to make sure everything is good. Okay, so when it comes to warming up in the middle of the workout, right? So usually about 8 to 12 reps will be sufficient. Okay, you just want your body to, you know, be exposed and used to the new movement. Okay, so gonna increase. See you in the first working set. Okay, so normally I do 30s, right? But then, you know, today I feel like trying to go for a PR. So let's try 32. Okay. Okay. Wow. Oh, that's a bit heavy. Okay, so even though this is quite heavy, right? But I think one more set is definitely reasonable because, you know, I did get at least 6 reps, which is the bare minimum. Okay, but not only that, I want to try to make myself exposed to this, right? So that's how we can eventually get stronger. Okay. Yes. Beautiful. So I'm glad I stick to the weight because still can get 6. That means it's manageable. Okay, one more. Okay, so last set. Okay. Okay. Oh, perfect. Oh, shit. So, dumbbell rows. Okay. Wow, so like I said, this is a bit too light, but still trying to make it work. Beautiful. Okay. Yeah. So, last exercise, okay, it will be the long D handles cable row, right? One of my favorites. So, let's go. Okay. Ooh. Oh. Up. Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Okay, so since just now the dumbbell row, I did a neutral grip, right? For this, I'll be doing sort of like a hybrid between an underhand and a neutral, right? So more like a V. So just imagine I'm really squeezing like my lower lats, right? Create that Christmas tree. Okay, so first set, okay, quite light, okay, but a good squeeze. So I think for this, the best is to do a pyramid set. So let's increase the weight and let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna strap up as well. Okay. Okay. Oh. Right. Up. Up. Oh, okay. That's heavy. Whew. Okay, so I can definitely go heavier, right? But I think it's really quite borderline between, you know, maintaining good form, good contraction, and then using too much momentum, right? So I think best is to stick to this weight, improve the form and contraction. Okay. Beautiful. Okay, so I know I said that was the last exercise. Okay, but I still feel like something was kind of missing, right? So last for real, for back lah, okay? Table pull over, right? Okay, it's really just one really stretch focus kind of exercise to end it off. Okay. 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 So, one more. That was a bit too light. I think this is really just one of the bad things about my training, right? It's like, you know, sometimes I do way too much volume. Okay. But it's because I really enjoy training. Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Move on to rear delts. Okay, so for rear delts, start off with a modified face pull, right? More of like a external rotation, right? So let's get some filler reps in. Okay, so usually for this, just want to make sure both my shoulders are even. Let's take a look. Okay, so that looks pretty good to me, right? So it's a green light to increase the weight. Okay, I think most importantly, I need to try to keep this left shoulder kind of down, right? But based on just now that set, it looks pretty good. Okay, yeah, let's take a look again. Okay, so now it's also like the time where I will usually, you know, have a protein shake, right? Because I train fasted, this is more like a sort of insurance, right? To protect my muscles, right? Okay, honestly, if you are consistent with your diet and your protein intake, right? Honestly, your muscle won't be lost so easily, right? But, you know, rather be safe than sorry. Okay, because I still have like rear delts, calves, and cardio. Okay, so better to be insured. Last one. Let's see your angle from the side. Okay, so normally I'll do the reverse pec deck, right? But I think it's definitely good to, switch things up from time to time. Okay, so for rear delts, I'm gonna do cable crossovers, reverse. Okay. Whew. So from the video, not sure, it's because of the angle, right? But I noticed like my left side is a bit higher, so I'm gonna take one in the middle and see before I increase weight. Okay. Okay, so left side is definitely slightly higher, right? So I'm going to try to stretch out my traps and then see if I can try to adjust it a bit. Okay, so in terms of weight, I'm going to maintain. Okay, just focus on trying to make everything balanced. Do some scapular pull-ups. Different grip. Okay, let's see if it helps. Okay. Alright, let's see. I think it seems to be getting worse, right? So I think that's it for rear delts. If any of you guys have a solution, do let me know. Right? I think when it comes to aesthetics, right, balance and symmetry is important. So time for calves. Okay, so for calves, I think let's keep things simple, right? Smith calf raise, one exercise, pyramid sets. Okay, so how many sets? Not sure, but last set will be around 6 to 8 reps. Okay, so just do as many sets, as many reps as possible until we reach there. Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay. Okay. I did the last one. Oh, okay, it's good. So the time now is 8:18, right? So I know one of the biggest reasons why people cannot achieve their fitness goal is because they do not have the time, right? So as you can see, the problem is usually your sleep, right? Because if you can fix your sleep, okay, you can wake up at 6 a.m. to go to the gym, right? I did a full back workout, rear delts and calves, and even did my 20 minutes of cardio, and 8:18, right? Some of you guys might not be awake at this timing, right? So if you really want it, okay, there's always a way, right? But because if you rather sleep late, scroll TikTok, okay, I mean, this is really speaking from experience, right? So I'm not really judging anyone, but we all have a life, and how the life goes depends on the decision we make around it, right? So you make your own decisions, right? I'm just here to document and show you how to actually achieve things if you want it. So see you guys tomorrow.